my friends, I'm back. Okay, so I'm going to continue with Ascension Cards a little bit, and then I'm just going to tell you, I've come up with a whole bunch of new formulas over the last, I would say 6 months or so, and they just kind of keep popping through. And I give an incredibly dynamic reading today. Hi, Two of Spades, you know who you are. And she really inspired me to try something. Okay, so that since I gave that little teaser, I'm going to tell you what that one of the new formulas is that I discovered really talking to her. I really felt the truth of it, though I'd considered it before. I've decided to call it Your Reflection. So I made this crazy discovery the other day. Let me tell you my thought process. Okay, so let's get out the spreads that we are the most familiar with. We'll leave out Ascension for now. So we've got the pure spread, the one that's all in order, and then the one we think of the natural spread, which I call the descending natural spread. There is an ascending natural spread, and it's when you're 43. Okay, it's called the pre-birth year at 44 because it's made the full circle back to the pure spread. Anyway, I'm going to try to keep this simple. So let's use the pure spread. And I just want to throw this in there again. I think that we just constantly forget about the pure spread because as humans, we're so caught up in the chaos and trying to work out our puzzle. But as we ascend more and more, we get more imprinted by this, by our home, kind of where we're from, actually. And so, like your card, just as a little aside, a little assignment to you, where does your card sit in the pure spread? What is the planetary intersection? What are the cards around you? Just because they're in sequence, that's not boring. That's a deep and rich study. So, for example, if you're the Six of Spades, where do you really live? You live here at Mars and Neptune. Think about that, Mars and Neptune. Okay, we think about some Six of Spades, like Kim Jong Un, not the one that's there now, but his dad. Six of Spades, I think. Anyway, it's like you can go one side or the other with this card because Neptune is about illusions, right? Mars is about extremism, passion, devotion. So, that can be about passionately fulfilling your dream, as in the case of Elvis Presley, or it can flip to the other extreme and being kind of a, Stalin type personality. I don't know what his card was. I just threw that in there. So, let's look at a more common card, the King of Clubs. Oh, I'm so ADD off subject already. So we have a lot of King of Clubs, and that sits in Jupiter, horizontal Jupiter, and vertical Saturn. Jupiter, Saturn. Okay. The formula for Jupiter and Saturn is an engine. Saturn contracts, Jupiter expands. And what do you have when you have contraction and expansion? You have balance. You have somebody who's willing to be a troubleshooter and look at negative possibilities, the realist, the Saturn. All pessimists say that they're realists. All skeptics say that they're reasonable. You can see I lean much toward the Jupiter energy of let's believe everything. So the Jupiter is let's look at possibilities and potential. So you have to have both. And the King of Clubs sits in that intersection. And yes, there are two intersections of Saturn and Jupiter, which is an important thing. That's another kind of reflection. Or maybe, how would the King of Clubs relate to the Six of Diamonds? Because they sit also in Jupiter, Saturn, but the other one is horizontal and the other is vertical. Do you know what I mean? So here's King of Clubs, horizontal Jupiter. Here's vertical Jupiter, horizontal Saturn. That's Six of Diamonds. That's why the Three of Spades I named the actuator, because they get shit done, and don't ever compare yourself to one of them. So King of Clubs are kind of similar. They've got their hands in a lot of different pies. They're very busy. They're very versatile. They have the ability to really step into the difficult, but they have the ability to pull themselves back out. Again, they're very resilient. So your assignment today is look at where what is the home of your card and look at one more thing. Pick one card, maybe it's your planetary ruler, or maybe it's whatever. Let me throw out your moon card because I think that's so important. So the moon card to the king of clubs is the queen of clubs. That means if his emotional foundation um, contains feminine wisdom and intuition, if he's willing to listen to his intuition, he's going to be a lot more effective in life rather than the one that just gets stuck in their head, because then that's arrogance and ego and stuff, right? So that rings true for the king of clubs. Say their planetary ruler is Mars, Mercury, Venus, Mars, the three of diamonds. It means that their business sense is very versatile. They shouldn't lock themselves into just one thing. Their value system is threes mean there's something edgy there, something that like a negative ion that let's push the envelope a little bit in our value system. So I know a lot of King of Clubs who are like, I'm just gonna ride this line right here, and I'm okay with it because I'm a king. And sometimes it is, and sometimes it's clearly not okay. But there's that three that's willing to just bend things a little bit or step into an unconventional value system. That's also very common. So, yes, your assignment is, where does your card live? If you're watching and you're not driving or you're at a stoplight, go ahead and type in your card and I'll talk about your card. Okay, so what is this reflection principle? This is so much fun, you guys. And yes, I do need to write many books, and leave a legacy. Maybe someday I'll get focused. I might need some help. If you're my helper, please contact me. You're willing to work for trade. Lashana is the 10 of diamonds. Hello, girlfriend. So, 10 of diamonds, where do you live in the pure spread? You hear all the time about how, oh, you live in the middle of the spread and everyone wants something from you and you're incredibly versatile and you tend to do it all because you can, but that doesn't mean you should. So, anyway, you get a lot of this. Okay, but where do you really live? It's like this can be kind of exhausting, and it's like a template that we have to wear. But what is the soul under that template? Well, you, my darling, the 10 of diamonds lives under the queen of spades is living in the 10 of diamonds position. You've got two very powerful queens as karma cards. So, yes, give, 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 give. Abundance. You are so abundant, but not just money, just, spirit, generosity, and but where do you really live? Instead of Jupiter, Jupiter, which can be really, really exhausting. You can't expand and expand and expand. What happens to a balloon that does that? So anyway, yeah, you have to find the yin side of Jupiter. That's a really good question. Okay, but where do you live? You live at Uranus and Mercury. This is fun because Uranus and Mercury are a vibration and then an octave above it. Uranus is like an octave above Mercury. It's a communicator, it's about thought, but it's about expanded thought. So the way I think of vertical and horizontal is that the horizontal line is more the mundane, the world that you're inhabiting, and the vertical is the divine. So what is divine Mercury? I think of it as truth, the capacity to really speak. It's pure thought. And how does that connect to Uranus? Uranus is the giver in terms of leaving a legacy. It's the humanitarian. It has cosmic consciousness. So could 10 of diamonds be a little bit more actually in your heart about communicating a deeper truth that you not only get or grok, you are? I think of another 10 of diamonds who, when I first met her, she's my daughter's friend, and I first met her and I said, the 10 of diamonds is a toroidal field. And instantly she was like, I am a tree. And that statement spoke to me of, like in this moment, the wisdom of a tree. It's so vast and it's silent. and it is just being. Its presence is enough. What a relief is that from the noise of the personality of the 10 of diamonds. And I'm not saying you're noisy. I'm saying there is a lot of noise in their lives. It's like they're attuned to everybody and they feel that they have to answer to everybody. But what if you just entered a room, you gave yourself a little relief vow of silence for about an hour, and you just concentrated on sharing your presence and the truth that emanates from you, or the very few words, or tuning into a higher source before you speak those very few words? It's a totally different take on the 10 of diamonds. So, when is your birthday? Because let's look at your planetary ruler. Okay, and I just have to say, because I'm always thinking about my Ascension cards now, this is half of the picture. In fact, when we look at what Robert Camp tells us to look at, we're not only looking at half or a quarter, we're looking at 1/8 of the picture of who we are, and it's the lowest possible vibration, which makes sense in the Kali Yuga, right? Well, we don't have a planetary ruler for you, Lashana, because you are a Leo. So I'm going to move on and talk about the reflection cards. So this is a crazy concept I discovered. Okay, so this came to me because I am the 7 of diamonds. Let's look at the mundane spread. The 7 of diamonds sits here in Venus, Venus, vertical Venus, horizontal Venus. And I was thinking, why are we so Uranian? Think of the 7 of diamonds, you know. They're just odd. They break the mold. There's Lucille Ball, um, that guy that did the art of the cans. He's just so weird. And he knew it. And it was kind of like his statement to the world, weirdness, because he's like, let's break the mold. So I was like, why am I so Uranian? And I said, there's another card that is the intersection of Uranus, Uranus, and that is the King of Clubs. Could it be that if you rotate this upside down, but you kept all the planetary things the same? And I can't really do it in an easy way visually here other than to just transpose. Okay, because mine is easy. So, you know that King of Clubs, 6 of diamonds thing I did? That would be a reflection, I think. I haven't figured that out for sure yet. But if I put my 7 of diamonds down here in the Uranus, Uranus, which is exactly symmetrical. See, it's on the inside of this outside little box. My card is on the inside of this outside corner box. So I thought, okay, the test would be to ask if King of Clubs are Venus, Venus, if we turn that upside down. And not only are King of Clubs extremely relational, they're all about relationship. They're about Venus. They're about connection. They're about love. They're about saying, I see you. Even more than that, the 2 of spades. That's their MO because they live in that Uranus, Uranus position, which if you flip it upside down, it's Venus, Venus. So the 2 of spades is to the 9 of hearts, what the other maybe is working with a little bit. So I say 9 of hearts because if we're looking at the pure spread, the 9 of hearts is here and the 2 of spades. Do I have that right? Yeah. The 9 of hearts and the 2 of spades there. But the 9 of hearts is also the 7 of diamonds. So if you guys know each other, think about how you're really trying to learn that healthy relationship style of the 2 of diamonds or 2 of spades. But here's another interesting, tricky thing. If their thing is relationship and Venus, what can Venus turn into? Relationship can go from differentiated intimacy to enmeshment. Oh, I can't remember who I am and I'm taking on their feelings and I'm caretaking them, you know. What does Uranus have to teach them? Non-attachment. Isn't that beautiful? And so for the quirky 7 of diamonds, the healthy relationship of the 2 of spades can teach us to be in relationship, to be connected, because they can get really disconnected. They can be like, I don't belong. And the two can pull them in and go, oh, you do belong. One of my best friends is a two. And she just like pulls me into this energetic embrace. And I'm like, I'm not alone. Okay, so if you would like to know what your reflection card is, put it in the comments because I would really love to figure that out. Okay, now the Ascension. This is really big, and I should have, I guess, put this in my notes below. I don't really have much there, but because I don't know what I'm going to talk about every time. So as far as Ascension cards, I want to show, this is next level. This is slightly intermediate. If you're not intermediate, just watch because I have visuals that make it really easy. Okay, this is called the Circle of Cards. And if you are, if you're intermediate, you know exactly what this is. But let me help you understand this by bringing this back. Okay, so we have this card, and then somebody threw the cards according to a very specific formula that Robert Camp lays out in one of his books. Everyone can try it. And if you lay out all these cards and all this weird, and then you pick them back up, and it sort of resembles playing solitaire. And then you lay the cards out again. And according to that quadration formula, you end up with this when you lay all the cards out. It's very mathematical. It's not random. Okay, when you do that, I'll just tell you this. Okay, what sat here? You can just keep asking that. And then you'll get the circle, the 8 of diamonds. What sat here? The Queen of Spades. So then you go to the Queen of Spades. What sat here? Or what's under this card? Okay, what's under this card? The Queen of Spades. What's under this Queen of Spades? The 10 of diamonds. What's under the 10 of diamonds? The Queen of Clubs. That's the circle. And see right here, we have 8 diamonds, Queen of Spades, 10 of diamonds, and that's the circle. 45 movable parts, 45 separate quadrations in our little notebooks of all the quadrations. That's why, never mind. Anyway, so here's Ascension Cardology. Okay, so we're on the wheel. Let's just say, okay, come back to this a second. You're on the pure spread. And instead of the Queen of Spades going to the 8 of diamonds, what if she went to the 10 of diamonds instead? The card that's on the other karma side. So here you are with the Queen of Spades, like we said, and instead of going this way, it goes this way. So the 10 of diamonds, stay with me. When does the 10 of diamonds sit in the pinnacle position where the Queen of Spades lives? Guess? Anyone? 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 Just before she clicks back home? 43. Why 43 and not 44? Because 44 is the 45th year, which means you've come full cycle and you're back to the pure spread. Okay, but here's 43. So this represents, see the 10 of diamonds sitting there? This is one click in the other direction from the pure spread. So we've got the pure spread, and then we go click, and we go all the way around, where you could say, this card is sitting in the pinnacle, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this, you know, and you go like that. And that's how you figure out someone's pinnacle year. Anyway, I hope that's not over your head. So the magic cards, Ascension, the magic circle of cards, Ascension approach. And this is what doubles our what we can know about ourselves. So here we have this mundane spread that I call it the descending life spread. Okay, we've got our descending hand, which is all we've been taught. Then I've instructed you look at the ascending hand. So for you 10 of diamonds, if you're still watching, instead of going Mercury, Venus, Mars, you go Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, and you would go up and to the right instead of down and to the left. And that represents positive potential, ascending. Okay, so this is the descending, right? Let's take 43. This is your ascending life spread, which is just one click away from the pure spread. So use it in exactly the same way as the life spread, or mundane, pure spread, mundane spread, or spiritual spread, mundane spread, but ascending mundane spread. So now you can look at the descending and ascending hand here. So we look at the 10 of diamonds. What is your ascending? Okay, so this is all theoretical, but it's logical, right? But I've been testing it out. Mystic test book, mystic taste, taste and test, test and taste and see if the Lord is good. Test it out and see if it works. I've been testing it and it works. Maybe it's nothing, maybe it's something. I'm going to keep testing it. I'm a P, an INFP, so that P is comfortable with that. Okay, so the 10 of diamonds, let's look at your brand new ascending hands. There's an ascending, descending, and ascending, ascending. Does that make sense? So Robert Camp has showed us the descending, the lowest possible vibration of your expression on earth. And we need that because we're in the Kali Yuga and we've come here to deal with our past shit. But we're beginning to feel that rollover into what we can become as a species, as a planet, as individuals. Okay, so look at the ascending hand and then go over to the ascending and look at your descending, ascending. So we have 4 levels: descending, 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 ascending, ascending, descending, and ascending, ascending. Sorry, I know it's just like the Virgo in me likes the detail. So let's look at your ascending, descending. So it'd be Mercury to the down and to the left. Is that right? Yeah, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. So your Pluto card, oh, this is really good for you, Lashana, if you're still listening. 10 of diamonds. One of your descending, the ascending, descending card is the 8 of hearts, Pluto. What does that mean? It means that your life and your death and rebirth experience is going to be around, I've nicknamed the 8 of hearts, grow some balls. This is about really finding your power, speaking your truth, but with it being a heart, it's an emotional truth. And it means, I will not move from this place. Okay, they're descending. Let's look at the mundane spread, the one we're used to. What is your Pluto in the hand that you've been instructed about? The lowest possible vibration that you can go is to caretake the hell out of someone and completely lose yourself. The 9 of hearts. Okay, I'm also the 9 of hearts, so I know this game. Completely disappear, caretake the hell out of someone. So your lesson here is to learn that what is transcendent love? And how do I begin to see and cherish myself? The 9 of hearts is I see myself, I value myself, I understand that love is infinite and unconditional. It's a you get to the bottom kind of experience, even if it's not your Pluto card. That's the 9 of hearts. The essence of it is to get to worthlessness, to discover unconditional worth. Okay, so once you get through that, what is the next descending task you have to work on? Is this 8 of hearts is like, okay, now I love myself. Now, how do I push that emotional energy forward into the world in a healing place where I empower other people to find their truth and to speak their truth? Isn't this exciting? Okay, let's look at your ascending Pluto. No, let's look at ascending something else. Let's look at ascending Mercury for the heck of it. Okay, descending Mercury is the King of Spades. Yes, 10 of diamonds have an incredibly powerful voice. But if this becomes their moon card, because they're going this way now, this King of Spades represents an unconditional confidence. Okay, and then that 10 of clubs, or 7 of clubs, Mercury becomes, I don't just speak the truth, I speak discernment. I speak brilliance. It's a genius vibration, and it's also a troubleshooting vibration. How comfortable are you as a 10 of diamonds who's gotten into this suit that says it's all good, it's all positive, you have to see the high side of everything, you're Jupiter, Jupiter. What do you do with that everything's not positive. That Seven of Clubs is that card of discernment that when it's in kind of a negative space, it's a complainer, it's a whiner. But when it's in service to humanity, it's like a surgeon. It can call out the infection. It can help you figure out what's wrong. It's a card of sensitive communication. You know, they can be kind of bombastic, big, Jupiter, larger than life. But that Seven of Clubs is very sensitive and very careful. So I've just given you an example of here's the whole what Robert Camp taught us. And then here was the other half of what Robert Camp taught us. And then here's this other half, other two halves up here, the ascending, based on the circle. And I downloaded you with the reflection card. Okay, so it's really easy to figure out if you are in one of these. Don't worry, I will be done in just a second. If you're in one of these, you know, this crisscross, you just go exactly opposite. But let's figure out another card. So what if we went, okay, the way to do it is like you would go 4 over 2 down. The Jack of Hearts reflection would go 4 over 2 down the King of Diamonds. The Jack of Hearts reflection would be the King of Diamonds, and that makes perfect sense. The King of Diamonds is like this master of their own environment. Their integrity, their values. I will live my values as I see them. I will be absolutely true to my own internally gleaned sense of integrity. Well, what's the Jack of Hearts? The Christ card, possibly the martyr. First, they think they just have to lay down and be a doormat for everyone, and that's their ticket. It's love is their gift. So it's the card they have to play in a dysfunctional childhood, basically, is how I look at it. How do they gain mastery? It's not about necessarily giving everything away. It's about being in integrity with yourself. And then you can give as much away as you want, but you've gotten clear about that mastery. Okay, what's the pitfall of the King of Diamonds? What do they have to learn from the Jack of Hearts? That's obvious. The King of Diamonds can be like, it's all about enterprise, and I'm in charge, and I say what goes, and I say what everybody should be doing. And the Jack of Hearts is love. Love, it's just about love. That's all there is. And what do you do pro bono? Pro bono, pro bono. What do you do pro bono, Mr. Enterprise? What are you willing to give just because that's the right thing to do? Isn't that fun? So if you want to find out who your reflection is, go to the pure spread, and you can do this in all the different quadrations, right? The pure spread, the natural spread that is descending, or the, too many words. We need shorter words in this lexicon of the cards. Okay, so I just want to look at one other card. Oh, please, just somebody, if you're watching, give me your card. And I want to find your reflection and test this out. So does this apply? Like I was saying before, the reflection for the Nine of Hearts is the King of Clubs, or the Two of Spades. But in the descending mundane spread, the regular spread, the Robert Camp spread, that would be Seven of Diamonds and King of Clubs. So there's a lot of, flexibility in here about cards that have the capacity to reflect you like that. And I just did a reading for someone who is a Two of Spades and is married to a Seven of Diamonds, and I'm a Seven of Diamonds. It was a phenomenal reading, and we talked about why their relationship works, and it was the coolest thing. And for a limited time, she reminded me that the kits that I have online on my website, it is kismet.com, which it just gives you this compendium of like, what's my deal? What are questions I need to ask myself? What am I good at? How do other people experience me? Talk to me about my hand. That's only $33. And I'm going to raise the price on that because there's such a wealth of information in there. Also, you can get a Cosmic Connection reading for $45 through my website. You just get my number, text me, and then we set it up. And it's any relationship. You just give me your birthday and their birthday, the general nature of the relationship, your name so that I can figure out which is which, and your email address. And I tune into your relationship, and it is a gas. It is a gas because I get all this stuff from a perfect stranger. And I'm like, here's what your cards say, and here's what I'm getting about your past lives, and here's the deal. And anyway, and I know it's a really vulnerable thing to open up your relationship, just to somebody and say, tell me what's going on here. We usually don't do that until it's like, unless it's either really well established or it's painful. But either way, it's a really fun adventure. So I guess I'm just going to close it out for now. I will be back. This is so much fun. I love being back with you guys, and I promise I'm going to do more. I've got like 6 projects regarding the cards that I need to work on. And in the meantime, just hit me up for a reading. I'll talk to you later. Have a good one.